Good morning, Geeta ma'am. Still students are joining, so shall we wait for a few more minutes, ma'am?
Hello, Divya ma'am. Okay, another 5 minutes. Can we wait?
Yeah, ma'am. Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, shall we start or you want us to wait for a few more minutes, ma'am? We have already 51 now.
Yes, ma'am. Today the number will be less because only the technical people will join the meeting.
Okay, so shall we start, ma'am?
Right?
So shall we start, ma'am?
Hello, ma'am. Divya ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
You're audible. We can hear you. Shall we start, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. I'll start. So good morning to one and all present in the virtual meet. Welcome to the orientation workshop on MIS and analytics. I welcome today's speaker, Sri Sarvanath Ji, to this session. Sri Sarvanath Ji is MS Office Specialist, Microsoft Certified Trainer, awarded by Microsoft CEO, over 100 years of experience as a corporate trainer for a data management and analytics in MS Excel. Highlights of this session are how to create a report card, triangulation, MS Excel, creating charts, playing with numbers, and etc. Hope all the students take the benefit out of this. Over to you, Sarvana sir. Sarvana sir.
Ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. So, good morning, one and all. My dear beloved students, respected head of the departments, and all the staff members who have been virtually met on this application where we are unable to meet physically due to this pandemic, right? I guess that whatever on a physical mode that I wanted to cover, I wanted to get your attention, the same thing I'm going to do it virtually, right? So, before we proceed for today's orientation, let us first understand the word what is MIS. MIS is all about Management Information System. Let me share the screen. So, all are able to see the screen, ma'am? Can anyone just reply? Is my
Yes,
screen
sir.
visible? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right, ma'am.
Visible.
Thank you, ma'am. So, on today's session, we will have a walkthrough on an important tool where companies are using, an important skill where all the learners should upgrade, update themselves, right? To do on these things and all, you need fundamental tools on this MIS. Okay, we need to have the fundamental tools to work on this MIS. There are various tools. Out of that, two important tools will be heading upon this MIS and analytics training part. Okay, so first, what is this MIS? MIS is all about management, information, reporting, and data analysis. It is like that: management, information, reporting, and you have a raw data, how you are going to convert into a meaningful information as a customer part. Okay, all those things that we are going to see here. So when I talk about MIS, maybe it might be a new word. I'll put it in a very simple language so that the students can easily understand the meaning of MIS. It is all about an organized integration of hardware, software, along with some of the applications and some information. Information in the other means we can say a data. Okay, a data means it is only a raw data. Let's say a college database. When I take a college database, so it is means it is the entire all students of database. That is what we call it as a college database. When I say only a degree students, then that is a meaningful information, right? When I say particularly a BCom or a BA or post graduation or diploma in electronics, right? Depends on the system, right? So all those information we are going to collect it. How we are going to collect it? Do we have it in a piece of a paper, or do we have it in a piece of a ledger kind of thing, or a manual entry? No, all those things has some kind of a software. All those things has to be put it into a systematic order. To do all those things, we need certain applications. So putting all those things in a system, we call it as a management information system, right? So MIS is an acronym for Management Information Systems. MIS is a set of procedures which, when executed, provides information to support decision making. Let's say there's a huge data, okay, and we are going to convert into a meaningful information. Let's say it's a raw data. It's instead of sharing a huge data, it's a raw data, and I'm going to convert into a meaningful information. So for all those things, you need certain tools. Okay, slowly I'll explain what is the tools, how we are going to work on with the tools, all those things. Right? So that is about a simple introductory to MIS, I can say. Okay, moving to the next, it is all about three things. One is management. When I talk about management, three I can say. Let us all remember this 3M. Whether it is a small firm, organization, or a SME, or a MSME, that is small. SME means small medium enterprises, or medium scale enterprises, or very large scale enterprises. It can be any such kind of a company. Okay, 3M we have to maintain. The first M is money, the second M is material, and the third M is manpower. These three things has to be maintained in a systematic order. Yes or no? I'll repeat it again. The first M is money, the second M is material, and the third M is manpower. That is, we call it as HR. All those things has to be maintained in a systematic order. These three M's simultaneously, parallelly, has to go hands on hands. Okay, one should not go on a higher side, or one M should not come on to a lower side. Okay, right? So all these three M's has to be maintained onto a systematic order. That is what we call it as management. Information. Let me give you one example. When I say an information, let's take a, a, a customer's details from a Zomato, or from a Swiggy, or from a retail customer's detail, right? So all those things, when I take, that is called as an information. When I say a college database, there's students' names, father name, mother name, father contact number, mother contact number, father occupation, all the information, whatever we are going to collect, that is what we call it as information. Right? That is what we call it as information. And to maintain all those things, that is money, manpower, material, along with the information, we need certain kind of systems. We cannot maintain it in a manual application, right? So we need to maintain in some systems. To maintain in some systems, we need this software. We need this softwares. So that is the entire part of the MIS. That's the entire part of the MIS. Slowly, I'll tell you how a system will work on MIS also. Right? Next, integrated user machine system for providing information to a support of the operations. What all it is going to be covered is, it is going to cover with the operations, it is going to cover with the management, it is also going to cover with analysis and decision making. Obviously, we have to do this. We have to decide it, whether my sales is increasing for the last 3 months, right? For the last half yearly, for the last yearly, how was my sales increase? How was my sales performance? So all those things, if I wanted to see, and I have to come back with one analysis, I have to come back with one quick decision making. To do all those things, you need certain kind of applications, right? The entire MIS is all about, I'm talking about the entire MIS in an organization. My dear students, it is not, don't think that it is one more subject to your curriculum, I can say. It is all about what companies are working out today, right? It is all about a bank customer's details. It is all about numbers. It is all about names. It is all about bank branch IFSC codes. Correct, right? Say if your account number is somewhere around 0421, something like that. Okay, if I put a wrong IFSC, a wrong account number, the immediately what happens, the amount transfers to the other person. It is all about numbers. To maintain all those things, right? To maintain an entire MIS, you need, that's a computer hardware, you need a computer software, and your manual procedures in the sense, what it's something kind of called as a flow chart, I can say. What comes first, what comes next, all those things that we need to do it. Along with analysis, we need to plan it properly. Okay, that is what we call it as supervision. Okay, we call it as a supervision, and the entire, whether it is working on to a correct platform or not, right? Sometimes when you go to a bank and you say a server is down, Why all those things happens? Because of overloading or because of overshading. All those things happens. Your database gets crashed sometimes, right? So you get a junk messages, junk mails onto your inbox, right? All those things, it should be onto a neatly handled platform. Okay, so there are two things. One is at the front end, and the other one is MIS. Talking about working on MIS, it's all about two things. One is working at the front end, and the other one working as a back end. So back end means you will be as a software developer, program developer, program coordinator, all those things will be called as a MIS backend executive. But when I talk about front end, it is all about Oracle, then SAP, SAS, then R, big data analysis. It's these are the three different various kinds of platforms, I can say. Okay, so this is all about an entire MIS system. So it is, one is a hardware you need, and the other one is a software you need, and the procedures whatever that you're going to follow. So these things are very important to maintain an MIS. Right. Next, how an MIS is being extended. To what level this MIS has been extended? As I earlier mentioned, three M's that we have to maintain in an organization. The first M is financial MIS, that is money. Then marketing MIS, that is it is also used in the marketing. It is, then we also have the HR MIS, that is the manpower. Okay, it is also the HR, that is the manpower, right? Many organizations are structured based on the functional areas, right? Let's say Zomato doesn't works like a Flipkart. A Flipkart will does not work as a bank. A bank will not work as a grocery shop, right? So all these companies, all these firms, all these organizations works on a different applications, or on a different platform, on a different basis they work, right? So that is what this sentence tells. This often related reflected in an organizational chart, so we call it as a smart art. Okay, I'll just explain how does a organizational chart can be done in an Excel. Okay, typically functional areas includes finance, HR, and marketing. In most of the places we use this MIS. Okay, many of these functional areas have their own management information system. They have their own standards, they have their own procedures, they have their own protocols, depending on the work of that nature, right? So this can be as an MIS extension, I can say. Okay, whenever you work in a company, okay, whenever you work on a company, what are all the questions that the management is to be put onto your table? The question number one: what is the sales analysis? That means for the last 3 months, what is the sales that you have done? That's the first question. The second question: what is your forecast? Let's say for the last 3 months, you might have reached 100. Just an example. What is your forecast for the next 3 months? Forecast in the sense, for the next 3 months, how much you are going to achieve. It is simple to say what is your target for the next 3 months. Whether do you want to increase your last 3 months performance, or do you want to decrease your last three performance? So these are the questions they're going to ask. So how is your sales analysis measured? What is your sales by quarter? As I told you, last 3 months, last 6 months, maybe one example like that. What is the sales by geography? Let's say there's a sales representative in different regions like east, west, north, south. Just an example. In east, what is the sales? In west, what is the sales? In north, what is the sales? That is what we call it as a geographical area wise. And then what is the profitability that you have done for the last 3 months? What is your next profitability rate? Okay, which profitability line was almost profitable for the last quarter? That means for the last 3 months, which month was more profitable? Okay, which product line profitability is showing an improvement, in which month you had an improvement. So these are all the questions that a company is going to ask you at the time of submitting your monthly report. My dear students, just imagine for the next, after doing your education, definitely one or the other day you will be put on to an interview, right? After completing your interview, you will be put on to your hands-on jobs. At that time, you should be in a position to answer all those things. You should be in a position to understand what is the profitability, what is the forecast, what is my last 3 months performance, what should be my next 3 months performance. All those things you need to understand, you need to learn from now itself. Okay, next comes Salesforce analysis. That means which salesperson has done the best among whom. Let's say there are 20 representatives, representatives. So don't think sales means taking a product, going to a going to a house and telling about the product. No, don't think that as a something like called as a marketing. So marketing means it is telling your whatever the product which you have, telling to an audience is your marketing. When does that become sales? When a product is being purchased, then that is called as sales. There are two things in a companies. Okay, let's say I have a phone, I manufacture a phone. Okay, when I address to the gatherings or when I tell to the public, then that's called as marketing. What is sales? When I get 100 orders or 100 numbers, okay, I get a PO, purchase order of 100 numbers, then that is called as sales. Okay, so there are two things, right? Don't think only a marketing executive people can do. Anybody can do this, right? Then comes the main thing, the financial decisions. So even this is also very important. Okay, handling from a petty cash to bank accounts, right? So am I managing the cash correctly? Okay, is my cash flowing correctly? Is my outstanding is all cleared? Outstanding means the due amount. Okay, how much is the amount should I get it from my clients, get it from my customers for the next 1 month, for the next 15 days. So all those things also you should also be very sound enough in handling cash also. Okay, that is also very important. Do I have some chronic late paying customers? That's what, let's say on 15th of this month or on 15th of next month the customer has to pay, but he will not pay. So how do I get that done? So even that is also a skill where you're going to collect it. Okay, we call them as a collection executive. So these are all the questions that once when you sit into front of your manager, definitely they're going to ask you the question. Number one, the first question, a quick recall. What is your sales performance for the last 3 months? How we are going to do it for the next 3 months? Then what is the profitability? Which month you had a very large profit, that's a big marginal profit from the previous month. And the third one is Salesforce analysis. Salesforce analysis means like the sales representatives, right? So which sales representative has done on a bigger sales? Then comes the financial decisions, handling of cash. So these are all the things that you need to have a quick analysis once when we work on a companies, right? So all those things, it cannot be done on a manual system, please understand. Okay, you cannot maintain in a piece of a paper all those things, you need to have it on a entire system, right? I'll tell you how to do all those things, next. Apart from that, that is what, as we were discussed, you have the projections. So other name I told you was forecast. Okay, what are our revenue expectation for the next 12 months or for the next 36 months, right? So all those things we can execute, I mean we are going to see all those things, right? Then what is the profit forecast for the next 12 months and for the next 36 months? What is my expectation? Okay, how much did I achieve, or how much should I get? So all those things that we need to have it on at least we should have some clear sets of goals. Okay, our goal should be smart enough goals, right? So smart, I guess people might know this, but if you don't know, I'll just put it in proper meaning of smart goals. So it is systematic, okay, measurable, SMA accurate, R is realistic, and T is time bound, right? Okay, first one, S is specific, M is measurable, A is accurate, R is realistic, and T is time bound. Like this we need to frame our work. Okay, right? Even if it is in a personal or even if it is official work also, right? Next, what is the headcount addition required to achieve the desired revenue? Headcount achievements in the sense, let me give you one example. Let's say you had 20 customers, okay, 20 long customers. January also they'll be in the same thing, and in the February also. In the March month, if 2 or 3 more members has been added to your revenue, a new customers, I can say, that is what we call it as a head count. Okay, talking about in the companies, so headcount is something that, so when you have only 20 in the month of January and 20 in the month of February, and in the March month if you have 23, there are 3 new customers for you. That means what? You are improving in your sales, you are improving in your performance. That is what is all about the headcount. Okay, what impact did a marketing campaign make to the sales numbers of a product A? You have multiple products, which product is having the more number of sales? That analysis we have to do. Okay, right? So these are all the quick questions they're going to ask you once when you step into the management room, right? Next, what do we do with the data? This is very important. Okay, what do we do with the data, right? Number one, first, transaction processing. Okay, let me give you a simple example. If I take a corporate example, maybe it might be confused. Okay, right? Let me give you a simple example. Let's say there's an examination. Okay, there's an examination. All are virtually meeting it. Correct? We are not physically meeting. Let's say there's an examination on, okay, somewhere around April 5th. April 5th is your examination. Today is almost Wednesday, right? We have to communicate to the students that is on April 5th there is an examination. Some examination is there. You need to assemble at 10 o'clock. Okay, right? Now what do we do? Say, let's say there are 1,000 members. Can we sit and do phone calls for all the 1,000 members? It's only a raw data. Okay, right? You have only a raw data. So what do? We are going to make a quick transaction processing. We are going to send them a SMS. Okay, we are going to send them a SMS. We are going to then reach out but through mails. We are going to reach out through other social networking sites, right? By some or the other means, we have to pass the information to the students, right? Because it is not 1 or 2 members, it is 1,000 members. We cannot sit and uh, take it forward as easy as like that. Correct? So we have to transact at immediate process. Okay, immediately we need to transact all those things. So that is what the data is all about. So some data you will be having and you're going to convert into a meaningful information. Then you have to make a decision. So what was the decision that I made? I have to reach my 1,000 students. Okay, and that information has to be passed. When it has to be passed? Before, let's say, Thursday, or before, let's say, Friday. Before Friday, all those 1,000 in uh, all the information to the students has to be measured, right? So all those things can be done using this data. Along with, we have to make a quick decision making, right? Then creating visibility with MIS and analytics. So becoming also a part of a C-level discussions in a career. C-level means, say, when you go to companies, you have various kinds of level. That is Group A, Group B, Group C, and Group D. When you take up this government civil services examinations, okay, right, you have various guested officers kind of thing. Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D, like that. Okay, similarly, when you take up this MIS analytics information career, when you choose this MIS career, you will be put it as a group level C analyst. Okay, you will be called as a group level C analyst. That is what it is called about the C level decision making person when working in a company. The management reporting and data analysis, how it works. Let's say, knowing how numbers you see in a report are created. Okay, let's say you have different quarters, okay, or an raw data, and you're going to convert into a meaningful information. Let's say a sales representative, a region you have, month, date, then product, purchaser, profit. Okay, where you have around 500 days. Okay, you need to find out what sales representative in which region, what is the profit he has given to the company. So can you sit and check and manually? No, never at all. No possibilities, right? To do all those things, you're going to use an option called as what? A pivot table in Excel. Okay, right? So you have to create a pivot table, you have to also create a pivot chart also. I'll show you how to do all those things, right? Next, figuring out what is relevant and what is not relevant. That is what I was telling you. Instead of me seeing all the 500 details, I should see only whatever the details I want. Okay, I have to see only whatever the details I have to see I want, right? So to all those things and all, you're going to use this option called as pivot table and pivot chart. Identifying business issues by analyzing the numbers. So when you have various numbers, when you have various options, instead of me sitting and doing it manually, you're going to use the pivot table, you're going to use the pivot chart. Okay, apart from that, you're going to use also with the dynamic charts also, right? Transforming, playing with the numbers and generate a story from them. That's what, instead of me seeing all the information, whatever the related information I want, I'm going to find out, right? So that is very important while when working with a huge data. Then triangulation, whether the numbers are aligning and telling the same story. That means triangulation in a sense, as I told you, 3 M's. This money should be linked with material, the material should be linked with manpower, again the manpower should be related with the money. So all those 3 things we call it as a triangulation. Okay, these 3 things we call it as a triangulation, whether all these things are met in a proper alignment. Knowing MS Excel is very well, it remains as a tool where we are going to work it as a management information system executive, right? So it is all about MIS, it is all about information, it is all about placements, right? So we'll see one by one how to do it. Creating charts that speak, that can manage and understand. Charts in the sense, graphical representation of a data, we call it as chart. I repeat, a graphical representation of a data, we call it as a chart. That means you have, let's say, okay, I'll put it like this. I'll put this example. You have internal marks, correct? January, February, March you have. Okay. So when you have January, February, March, right? So you have 3 internals and you're going to put it in a graphical format. So in the subject 1, have I scored more in first internal? In subject 2, have I scored less in the second interval? Like this, I'm going to find out. Okay, to do all those things, you are going to use the chart option. Okay, get exposed to a business lines earlier and participate in management discussions at an early stage. That means getting into an information with proper management is very important to become as a MIS executive. Okay, to become as a MIS executive, right? Next, benefits to an organization. Now we saw as a learner part. Assume that if you are working in an organization, what are all the benefits that I can make? Increase in the customer satisfaction, improved sales planning and execution, improved internal and external communications. This is very, very important. Let's say a customer calls to a specified product, let's say a call center. Okay, he calls it and he tells that this is a product I want. Okay, internally what happens, it goes from one department to another departments. They have to communicate and they have to give the exact product what is the customer is needed. Okay, if he gives a product, instead of asking a product A, if he gives a product B, what happens? Definitely the quality goes. So this is must and should when you're working in a company, the communication. Okay, improved responsiveness of number of competitors in conditions. That means even this also we should know who is our competitor, correct? Right, let's say for Adidas, Puma, they're not competitors, examples I'm just giving. Okay, Adidas, Puma, right? Nike. So all these things. So all these like this, there are various companies or the various firms which works on the same platform, right? Improved quality and quantity of information, improved operational efficiency and flexibility. Even this is also very important. Flexibility means what? Let's say if a product is not satisfied by from the customer's end, again what which we should do, we should change the product or replace the product. That is what, there's a two different words you might have seen: guarantee and warranty. Okay, there's a difference between a guarantee and a warranty, right? I guess you all understand this. There's a lot of difference between a guarantee and a warranty. So that's what this flexibility is. Improved quality of planning and quality of control along with supervision. Supervision is also important, whether the process is going on a correct platform or not, whether it is working on a all the processes working under fine or not. So to find out all those things, you need this entire planning system. Okay, so where a company's growth also will increase while working with this MIS. Okay, next. So the difference between a MIS executive, okay, and a business executive, right? A business executive and an MIS executive, that is we call it as a developer, a software developer, I can say. Okay, for a business executive, his main intention is only to focus on an organization. How is my company growing? But the focus on a computer science engineer people or engineering background people, he will be working only on software. Okay, right? But for focus, the main area of working role is only on the entire organization. But for him, it is would be only on software. The objective here for him is more efficient and effective business. How is my business going on? He will be only reliable and only on particular computer programming. The core skill what he needs is problem solving techniques, data analysis, critical thinking. All those things are important for a business executive. But for a computer logic person, only a logic or a procedure is very important for a core skill person. Typical starting job title, what will be, what will be a job title once when you get into an MIS executive? You'll be called as a finance executive, will be called as a business systems analytics, sales trainee, customer service representative, field executive. Like this you will be called as a job title. But here you'll be called as a developer, you'll be called as a application programmer. Like this, these are the designation. Your career goals in MIS executive will be senior business leader. Starting, you'll be called as a MIS executive, then to the senior business level leader, and here you'll be called as a programming manager. So this is how it goes one after the other. Okay, specified what is the job roles. So the job roles where you have in MIS is around 22,000 more openings in Naukri. You might have known this. Okay, MIS reporting, MIS analysis, these are all the job designations, I can say, or a job title. You might have called as an accountant, senior accountant, junior accountant, admin executive, receptionist, front office executive, like that. Okay, you'll be called as an MIS reporting, you'll be called as an MIS analyst, you'll be called as an MIS executive. Where all you can have a better place in working in a company. It will be used, you will be having a positions in finance, you will be having a position in HR, sales, marketing, customer service, and operations. In all the places, this MIS comes into picture. Okay, in all the places, this MIS comes into the picture, right? And now comes the topics that we are going to do. Okay, what are all the topics that we are going to do it in MIS executive? The two important tools, I can say. Okay, the first one, that is one ERP. Okay, the first one is one ERP called as Tally, and the second one we call it as the Microsoft Excel. The second one we call it as a Excel, right? Excel means not a complete Excel we will be giving you a training. Okay, we have picked out and we have customized what is requirement on an industry side. Okay, what is required on an industry side, that we will be focusing on this two important tool. One is ERP and the other one is Microsoft Excel. Okay, so When I talk about ERP, right, you all might have known one application called as Tally. Okay, you all might have been known one application called as Tally. Through ERP, we are going to train this. How we are going to prepare a trial balance? Okay, so theoretically, you know what's a trial balance, what is a profit and loss statement, our balance sheet is used, our cash flow statement, but practically, company's data. Okay, so you are not going to create a dummy data, you are going to create a company's data, you will be handling a company's information, and we will make you to work on that. Okay, we will make you to work on this trial balance, or whether it's a profit and loss statement, how to prepare a balance sheet, cash flow statement, right, inventory reports, ratio analysis reports. Like this, we will make you to create multiple kinds of reports which is related on a company's side. Along with that, how we are going to handle the transactions. Okay, whether it is a day book or a ledger, receipts and payments, bills receivable, bills payable, how we are going to handle all those things, that is what we are going to see in the second module, right? Then how you are going to handle the data, this is again very important, getting external data from the other applications. Okay, like how do you going to backup, backup in the sense, if there will be a data, you're going to take one more copy of it. Okay, right, how you're going to do all those things, export and import data from the other applications, right? Applications, when I talk, it is not only one in ERP, it is from the other application also. Either it can be in MS Excel, or it can be in SAP, or it can be in SAS or big data analysis, it can be in any application. Okay, customer details, it will not only be only in Excel, it will not only be in only in Notepad, it can be in MS Outlook also, it can be in MS Access also, it can be in any part. So all those things and all, you need to handle on a good knowledge. Then comes the next tool, that is a Microsoft Excel. So in Excel, we are not going to teach a complete Excel, we have picked out certain tools like pivot table and pivot chart, referencing techniques, and getting external data from the other applications, and more important, handling with errors. Okay, so more important, handling with errors. So these are all the things. And then you have analysis tools. When I talk about analysis, there are three different tools, like data table, then you have what if analysis, then you have creating table, and the scenario manager. These are the different tools which are available under the what if analysis tools. Okay, then apart from that, how we are going to create multiple inputs on the row wise, multiple inputs on the column wise, and if I combine or if I club both the inputs, what will be my output? That is what is about the data table, creating pivot table and pivot chart. So this is a very important, I can say. Okay, how to create a pivot table, how to create a pivot chart. So explaining on this pivot table and pivot chart only, it takes around 2 to 3 days. What is a pivot table, how you are going to create a pivot table and pivot chart, all those things are important part as a tool, right? Then MIS dashboard. So when I talk about dashboard, so dashboard means company's information, okay, or a company's data. We are going to put it on one in entire page, or I can say, okay, that is what we call it as a dashboard, right? So how many types of dashboards we can prepare? There are static dashboard and the dynamic dashboard. Static dashboard means it will be constant. Dynamic means it will be keep on changing. If I vary my data, the entire data changes, right? So all those things is all about the dashboard. Very 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 important. So how to prepare a dashboard, where we will be giving you the training, getting an external data from the other application. As I told you earlier, customer details will not be in only one application, it will be in many applications. How you're going to handle errors. Then formula auditing. So let's say data is there in a separate sheet, and one more information or an output is onto a separate sheet. How did I get my output? All those things we are going to see in this working with external data, right? So this is all about the entire MIS, we can say, that is Management Information System. Anu ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. I think I've done with this.
Yeah. So students, if you have any doubts, you can post it over chat. Geeta ma'am, if any students is having doubts, they can post over the chat.
Hello students, if you have any queries, you can forward it or you can unmute yourself and then ask.
Yeah, I have provided the unmute option to students. So
Yes,
if
ma'am.
you
Yes,
have any
please.
doubts, please unmute and you can ask.
Okay.
Sarvana, there is one question like, what about MS Access usage in MIS in the chat box?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'm just checking. What about MS Access usage in MIS? Okay, MS Access, it's a different vertical Vignesh sir. Okay, so MS Access will not be pitching into MIS, I can say. What is the main reason is MS Access, it is all about database. Okay,
Yeah.
collecting an information and we are just storing it, but we are not going to come out with one decision. Okay, but here in MIS we have to come out with one decision. What is the decision? Let me give you one example. Let's say the take example, the same thing, January, February, March, three internals you have. Okay, in some internals, let's say in subject 1 internal I might have scored somewhere 18. In subject 1 internal in in the month of February I might have scored 21. So what is my graph is increasing, 18, 21, 30, and my graph is increasing, but that cannot be done in MS Access. Okay, that cannot be done in MS Access. So MS Access is a different vertical tool and MIS Analytics is a different vertical tool. So this is what the major difference is.
Yeah, there is one more question from Shilpa.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
How is the job market for MIS in abroad? Yes. Instead of telling abroad, okay, maybe you might, you, especially you, are very keen on abroad, I think so. Don't worry, nothing as such. Okay. You have various opportunities working as an MIS executive. Why I tell you? Organizations, do we have only in India or do we have only in abroad? We have in all the places. Correct? Right? You have multiple opportunities and you need to have a globalization certifications for all those things. When you wanted to step out abroad, okay, you need to have a globalization certification like a Microsoft certification or an ERP certification like SAP. Okay, right? So at that point of time your job opportunities for abroad will be increased. It doesn't mean that when you have a certification, it doesn't mean that you don't have less opportunity. You have, but still, when you particularly look out for an abroad opportunities, you should have a globalization certifications, like which I gave you an example: Microsoft, Cisco. Then you have SAP. Like these kind of certifications, if you have, definitely your job opportunities also increases. Yes, madam. Thank you. Yes, any questions you can put me in chat box or you can unmute yourself.
Hello, students. Hello, ma'am. Divya, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Students, any queries?
Hello.
Uh,
This is Shilpa here. So, can I ask the question by directly to sir? Is
ask.
it possible? Yeah. Okay. So, hi, sir. This is Shilpa here.
Yes, madam. Please
So,
tell
I
me.
was looking for an master's in my abroad. So, especially in
Okay.
US. So, right now, the confusion is that should I be going for an MIS degree, which is too technical, or should I be going with something which has a mixture of both techno management? Because I'm keen on being on both the sides of the board. Like, I want to be available for the job market in both the ends. That is, as a developer and also as a data analyst or a program manager. So,
Okay.
what would you suggest? So, which
Okay.
kind of should I be going more into technical wise, or should I choose something where the curriculum is more balanced between the technical and the management?
Okay. So your focus is only on getting into abroad. Number one, the first thing is, and the second thing is you should have uh, both the concepts balanced. That is, even as a technical side, as even as a management side. Why I tell you is,
Mhm.
uh, let's say, don't take it in the other way. Let's say if you don't get job on a technical side, your
Yeah,
management will help you.
that's right.
Correct.
Yes.
If your management doesn't get fetch you a job, just an example.
Mhm.
Okay, don't expect, don't think it in another way. If
Yes.
your management doesn't get the job, you'll
Mhm.
be having a good hands on with technical. So
Yes.
my
Mhm.
suggestion is you should have both the ways, ma.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
No management.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, ma.
Yes, sir. Got it. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thanks for your time.
Yes, thank you very much.
Students, any other queries? Other students?
So all are from various polytechnic background, like computer science, civil, like I mean,
Yes,
CS. I
sir.
can. Okay, okay, very nice.
Computer science, electronics, mechanical, and civil.
Oh, very nice, very nice, very nice,
Only technical students are there.
very nice, ma'am. Very nice.
Should we have to wait for many more queries, sir?
No, ma'am, nothing as such. If nothing is there, we can left to the students.
Okay. Is there,
I've delivered a vote of thanks.
sir?
Sir,
Yes, ma'am. Tell
Shall
me,
we
ma'am.
conclude? Shall Divya ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Divya
Yes,
ma'am?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Shall
ma'am.
we conclude through vote of thanks?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Anu,
Yeah.
ma'am,
Now
I
I
think
invite.
we can conclude. Anu, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
There is no
Yes.
query. We can, ma'am. You can go ahead with
Okay.
it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Now I invite Srimati Anita G, HODCS, to propose vote of thanks, ma'am.
yeah, good morning, everyone. Today, it's my privilege to propose vote of thanks. At the outset, my hearty thanks to Sir Saravana Ji for his excellent session on MIS and analytics. Thank you, sir. Really, it was an excellent session, sir.
Thank you,
Thanks a
ma'am.
lot, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. I take this opportunity to thank Dr. G. Srilata Principal and Director Academic, for arranging such a nice session. Thank you, ma'am. Last but not the least, I thank all my colleagues and students. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.